Hello. Today, I haven't been here in a while, obviously, but I'm here to tell you why I've been gone. I have put out a couple of videos lately about the cancer and how it's impacting me, and the fact that I have taken a turn for the worse, which has been difficult, to say the very least. Been in a lot of pain, and both emotionally and physically. I don't want to discount what going through cancer looks like or feels like to anyone. And a lot of times, these things are private, very private. And some of the humiliation I've been suffering lately has been a little over the top. So today, I want to talk about why that might be. I had applied for reimbursement for my doctor visits for my insurance to pay. And I, like anybody, mailed my claims in thinking that this insurance company would get my claims in the mail and process them like I've always had happen. It's not ever really been anything too out of the ordinary for this to occur. And so, one thing and another, and I had 3 years worth of claims for doctor visits that were being mailed in and not being reimbursed. And it's due to the fact that we have AI that I went ahead and I decided, okay, well, maybe I just need to know more about what might be happening, because I really don't understand why I'm not getting reimbursed. I have not really had a problem with it before this, so I don't know why it would be a problem now. So it was just sort of a confusion for me. And I finally learned how to be a medical biller. And I think this is sad and funny, and I'm sick. And so I'm needing to have all these skills right now to just manage my care. So I learned how to use their online system as if I were a coder billing for medical, all the drop down items and needing to upload things, and it's complicated to say the least. When you have to use it, you'll know what I mean. But this particular company, and I'm not going to say who it is because I just don't need any kind of targets on my back right now, but basically the artificial intelligence, when I was querying what might be happening, I'm mailing in my claims and I don't know why they're not getting received. What's going on here? Well, turns out that the reason my claims weren't received is that when you mail to this particular company, they're just known for not having received them. And so this was a beginning of a very uncomfortable bit of reality in what is happening to insurance for all of us. And in particular, someone like myself who's late stage cancer, and the things I need rather rapidly. So I, out of deep frustration, got this letter in the mail. And I went over this letter with a fine-tooth comb. I decided that whatever this letter says, I need to really make sure I understand what it says. And of course, it had codes on it that had no legend to go with it. So understanding this letter, or letters, if you will, this breakdown of what they did with this now 3 years worth of my medical bills, they all had this code 922. I had no idea what 922 meant. And so I went in thinking, okay, this is going to be easy. I can just query an AI and I can find out what code 922 means. Again, not so simple. 922 means it's denied. And there is no easy to follow legend with these insurance companies, because I absolutely tried. And it wasn't on my letter. So I was like, I don't know what this 922 means, but it looks like not any of my medical is covered at this time. And I was scratching my head going, I don't know why none of my medical is covered at this time. I pay for private insurance, a premium. And again, up until now, my medical bills have been getting paid. But this past 3 years, something changed. Well, I found out what 922 means. So I'm going to share with you what it means in case you have any questions yourself. 922 means you're denied. Now, it can be any number of reasons. Now, this is the funny part. So even though you know you're denied, you don't really know why. They don't tell you why. And they keep it specifically and purposely vague because it does add to the difficulty in resolving it. So at this point, I'm very upset. And I don't really care what anybody thinks anymore. I'm losing my patience. I'm in the process of my life slipping between my hands. And I'm not letting this happen easily. I have a right to be here, even if what I'm going through costs this system money. It's part of a sacred agreement that we all pay in and accept responsibility for the fact that some of us need more at certain points than others. And that certainly over the years, when I've needed less, I've been just fine with making sure those who do need get what they need. This is part of our shared social, financial obligations to each other spiritually and part of a higher law. And yes, we can think what we want. We can look at somebody like me and say, you're sick and you're costing too much money. I caution you not ever to take that position spiritually. At any rate, I'm on the phone now with the insurance company and I'm finding out what 922 means. It means that I didn't call each and every time and get pre-authorized. Now, I'm going to explain to you in rather graphic and gross detail. So you might want to just not listen to this. I don't know. That's up to you. But I think it requires a level of honesty and authenticity to tell you this story. The cancer I have, 1 in 8 billion people get. It's not that thyroid cancer is that uncommon. It's not. It's that uncommon if it's the autoimmune thyroid cancer after your thyroid is surgically removed. And in my case, my thyroid was surgically removed in 2002. And currently, what am I being denied for on my medical bills? Well, shockingly, I'm being denied for emergency care, which is illegal. And which, again, I think they bank on the fact that it might be that I'm too sick to fight back. It's a good possibility. It's worth the gamble, I guess. Or that I'm never going to be knowledgeable enough to understand the codes to call them back and have a reasonable conversation about what might be happening. It's any number of things. But in addition to that, I received a letter from this same insurance company stating to me that I'm out of compliance for 50 things. I need vaccines and mammograms and this and that. Late stage cancer has nothing to do with routine medical care. And in fact, most of your care is going to revolve around providing a way forward for you. And in my case, because this type of cancer is so rare, 1 in 8 billion people get it. The only thing we have available to us right now for treatment options is to monitor my thyroid levels. And it is not the simple TSH test. It is usually a more complex immunoglobulin protein test that looks at everything my thyroid levels are doing because, well, quite frankly, cancer is making my thyroid from an unknown location. And you might ask yourself, okay, so why is your doctor not going in and locating where the cancer's at? Well, I'll tell you why. There's some very good reasons. In 2008, when they recognized I actually had this cancer, which grows quite slowly, mind you, they said that any further x-rays could, in fact, exacerbate the growth of the cancer and cause it to take off. And they would highly recommend I not get any of these kinds of routine tests, even though the radiologist has recommended it. Oncology said absolutely not. Recently, taking a medication, this is just how sensitive it is. They changed the excipients. I ended up being so hyperthyroid over that little autoimmune change that my doctor said it will take me 6 months to get out of feeling poorly to the point that she would consider me totally disabled, which is where I'm at right now. I'm about 2 months into this, and every day it's a little bit easier. She had to drastically reduce my thyroid levels. At this point, I'm on such a low dose of thyroid, it's rather surprising. So you might want to know what happened in this phone conversation with the insurance company. Well, what happened was I told them the truth. And you might ask yourself, what is the truth? Well, I'll tell you what I do behind closed doors that nobody sees in this very humiliating cancer. I pass out and I lose all control of my body. Everything goes. And well, I asked the insurance company, am I supposed to call after I come to and take a shower and get myself all cleaned up again? What am I supposed to do? Because each and every time with this cancer in the state it's in, it's an emergency. There is no non-emergency care anymore. And that's generally true for every cancer patient. When we need a doctor's visit, it isn't because we want the doctor to tell us how pretty we are or how sweet we are or how well we're doing with our problems. Okay, it is none of those things. It's because we're in trouble and we need the support. And when we can't go to the doctor because our insurance needs pre-approval, often coming with a denial, mind you, I'm kind of getting to the point where I think, okay, forgiveness is better than permission. And so I asked the nice lady on the phone, yeah, I pass out and I shit myself. Would you like me to be any further graphic with you as to the nature of my emergencies? Yeah, I understand nobody sees this. I understand I live with this all by myself. That it's easy to discount me. But stop it. Stop doing it to all patients. Cancer's very real, and the indignities that go with it also very real. But when your social system breaks down around you because you're fearful of an immigrant getting some kind of medical care, free medical care, oh, please, stop it. You've created an environment where your own interests have been deeply sabotaged. And if you think somebody that you love won't get cancer, think again. Cancer's on the rise right now because we breathe dirty air, we drink dirty water, and we eat dirty food. And we don't get the kind of medical care we need to stay healthy. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you what it means really darn quickly. Death begins in the feet and lower legs, as well as in your mouth. both areas, not discussed at all medically, because, well, that would be responsible. We want to do something right for medicine. There's a lot of things we could do, none of which I hear being talked about at all. And so, well, I was going to pull some cards for this, but I don't think I need to. I think that the truth is the truth. And I'm sad. I'm having a hard time coping with what I'm going through. I'm angry that this system isn't being honest with any of us. I feel like for the sake of a few dollars, it would be easier for them to just say, be processed at shower 13. We just can't afford you. I'm sorry, people. When this is our new low, it's too low for me. Now I have hope, and I'm going to tell you why. I probably shouldn't, but I do have hope. Because this particular eclipse, and I'm a medical astrologer, so I'm going to just say what's true, where I'm at, and why. This particular eclipse for me happened right on my nodes, my south node. Okay. And my south node has been all my days sitting right next to Chiron, and a part of the massive wounding that I really do have, which said right in here, my third house, language development, my voice was not available to me. I didn't have a voice. And it's no wonder I developed cancer. And you see, when we cut off ourselves, or when we are cut off due to circumstances, regardless, when they cut off our vocal cords like it is currently seeming to be, you can expect trouble. We're not meant to conform. We're not meant to be one just like the other. And for those of you who voted for this conformity, because that's what you did, your system is going to be pretty darn impacted when you don't have the joy of diversity in your lives. Now, I'm wearing a hat, and you might ask yourself why. Oh, there's always more to the story, isn't there? I'm wearing a hat right now. Why? Because I have no hair. I can't really grow my hair. My hair falls out faster than it comes in. And it's very hard on my drain. And I'm tired of paying a plumber. I make hair balls that are fabulous. It's part of thyroid. But it adds to the flavor, something I shouldn't even have to say, because it's so ridiculous in its own right. I've been told that I look alternative, which I am, in a sense. And I support alternative because I think it's important to be diverse and have everything, anything, openness. But I'm a married woman. A lot of people mistake me as a lesbian, which has brought my awareness as to the amount of torture the average citizen is willing to provide me without even having any knowledge as to why. Now, I've thought about wearing something that says, I'm a cancer patient, knock it off, but decided no. I think it's really good that I know these things, because a lot of us are marginalized in various ways. Mine is cancer and the many things that go with it. Somebody else's might be their sense of sexuality and sensuality. And I'm going to tell you something. God made you who you are. And if you have the right as a human to judge another, think again. God made us who we are. And your Puritan views have no place in my home. With that, please do like, share, and subscribe. Don't know how much I'm going to be here. It's not going to probably be a lot for a while, because quite frankly, I'm needing to heal. I'm needing to heal in several different ways right now. So again, like, share, and subscribe, leave comments. I will get back to you. I want interaction with others. And if you have something like what I have, I want to hear from you. I want to know I'm not the only human out there. 1 in 8 billion is a rather lonely problem. Thank you for being here with me today.